Hello. So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another session. As you know, we are going through a session and reasoning series. We're going to start off today with one of the important chapters, that is principles of inheritance and variation. That is principles of inheritance and variation. So, let's see. Without wasting any time, let's jump on to the class. So as you know, this is 22nd of April, so almost hardly like, okay, 10 to 12 days are left. I hope everybody is giving their grand test or full length test regularly. Please give the test. And if you are saying I'm not confident, okay, I haven't done this chapter yet, I'll wait. When are you going to give the test? So please make sure you're giving your grand test or the full length test, whatever you call them as, and do the paper analysis post the exam. And this is the time very crucial for you. Without writing exam, you can't remember stuff. Okay, please give exams and do the paper analysis. Post exam paper analysis plays a very crucial role, as important as giving exam. So if you write your exam and keep away your paper, that's not going to help you in any ways. Post the exam, you have to do the paper analysis and figure out what went wrong with that particular question, okay, and then rectify your mistakes. Okay, so without wasting any time, let's join into the class and see the assertion and reasoning statements in principles of inheritance and variation. Let's see the first question. What is the first question? In humans, the gamete contributed by the male determines whether the child produced will be male or female, which is true, isn't it? Which is true. Next, in humans, 50% of the total sperms produced carry two X chromosomes, and the rest 50% can have only one Y chromosome. This part of the statement, only one, okay, Y chromosome is true, but here it says half of the chromosomes have two X chromosomes, which is false, isn't it? So when sperms are produced, 50% of the sperms carry one X chromosomes, and the remaining 50% of the sperm carries one Y chromosome. So I would go as first statement as true and the second statement as false as the answer. So C would be our answer. C would be our answer. Okay guys, is it clear? Is this clear? Paying attention while you are reading statement based questions is very crucial for us. Let's go for the next one. Gregor Mendel conducted the hybridization experiment on garden peas and proposed the laws of inheritance in living organisms, which is true. Let's see the reason. Mendel selected 7 true breeding pre-plant varieties, 7 characters, but it is 14 true breeding varieties. It should be 14 true breeding varieties. Hence, this statement is false. The reason statement is false. So we'll go C as the answer. We'll go with C as the answer. Guys, is it clear? Next one. Third question. The law of dominance is used to explain the expression of only one of the parental characters in a monohybrid cross in the F1 generation, isn't it? So it is true. It sounds true for me. Okay. Next, the law of dominant explains the proportion of 3:1 obtained at the F2 generation. which is true. But see the assertion statement which says the law of dominance is used to explain the expression of only one of the parental characters. This has to be explained in the reason. Why only one, okay, is being expressed, that has to be explained. Rather, he is going into this statement. So I would say both the statements are true, but it is not really explaining the assertion statement. So I'll go with B. I'll go with B. I'll go with B. Next, fourth question. Phenylketonuria is a recessive hereditary disease caused by body's failure to convert an amino acid phenylalanine to tyrosine because of the defective enzyme, which is true. But let's see the reason. Phenylketonuria is a disorder in which phenylpyruvic acid is excreted through urine because of its poor absorption by kidney. So it is not actually explaining. I would go with B as the answer. I would go with B as the answer. Next, deletions and insertions of base pairs of DNA cause frame shift mutations. Which is true. Sickle cell anemia arises due to change in two base pairs of DNA. No, it is only one base pair. It is only one, not two. So this reason is false. Assertion is true. Reason is false. So what will be our answer for the fifth question? That would be C. Clear? Let's go for the next question. Law of dominance can be studied only through inheritance of two genes. Why, Baba? Why can't we study with one? We can very much study even with the inheritance of one gene as well. Okay, we can study even with one gene, not just two. So it is false because he has given only. Okay, according to law of dominance, factors occurs in pairs, which is true as a statement. So what can be our answer? The answer will be the fourth one, that is assertion is false and reason is true. Assertion is false and reason is true. Let's see the next question. Seventh, in Snapdragon, selfing of pink flower plant produces same phenotypic and genotypic in F2 generation. So basically saying the phenotypic ratio and genotypic ratio will be same, which is true in both codominance and incomplete dominance. Flower color inheritance in Snapdragon shows complete dominance. No, why is contradicting? So it doesn't show the complete, rather it is incomplete dominance. So C would be our answer. Assertion is true and reason is false. Next, let's go through the next question. Analysis of traits in several of generations of a family. Analysis of traits in several of generations of a family is called as pedigree analysis. True In the pedigree analysis, the inheritance of a particular trait is represented in the family tree over generation. Yes, as a statement it is true, but if as a proper reason, if he has gone for, okay, this symbol is used for male, this is used for female, if it is clear, okay, that means it is not affected. If it is shaded like this, then it is affected. If something like this is talked about, then it would have been a proper explanation. Since he's not doing that, I don't think so it carries a proper reason, so I would go with B as the answer. I would go with B as the answer. Is it clear? Is it clear, guys? Hello? Next question. In birds, the chromosome composition of the sperm is either autosomes plus X or autosome plus W. He's talking about birds. So in birds, you know, for males, it is homogametic, that is Z plus Z, and for female it is ZW. So it is not, okay, X thing is not there, so this is false as a statement. Male birds are homogametic, just now I told you, so this is true as a statement. So what would be our answer? D would be our answer. Assertion is false and reason is true. Assertion is false and reason is true. Is it clear? Hello? Let's move on to the next one. Phenylketonuria leads to mental retardation, which is true. This phenyl pyruvic acid and its derivatives are accumulated in the brain, which will interfere with the metabolic activity. So it is true and it is explaining as well. So I'll go with the A as the answer. A as the answer. Is it clear? Next. The phenomenon in which a single gene exhibits the phenomenon in which a single gene exhibits multiple phenotypic expressions is called as polygenic inheritance. Isn't it? Which is true as a statement. Isn't it? The phenomenon, hey, what are you talking, man? The phenomenon in which a single gene exhibits multiple phenotypic repression is called as not polygenic. It is called as pleiotropy. So this statement is false. Pleiotropy is mostly due to the effect of a gene on metabolic pathways which contribute towards different phenotypes, which is true. So the answer it will be, okay, fourth one, that is assertion is false and reason is true. So I would go as fourth one as the answer. Let's go through the next question. UV radiation is a mutagen. Okay, true. UV radiation can cause mutation in an organism, that's why it is a mutagen. True. So the answer is both the statements are true and it is the right explanation as well. Okay, next one. A person having IA and IB. So a person having IA and IB genotype has AB blood group, which is true. Let's see the reason statement. IA and IB IA and IB alleles when present together show codominance. Yes, both the statements are true, and why AB is being shown is because of codominance. So I will say both the statements are true, and it is the right explanation as well. And it is the right explanation as well. Let's go through the next question. Thalassemia is a qualitative problem of synthesizing too few globin molecules. Okay, if I'm not wrong, it is not qualitative, it should be quantitative. It is quantitative, isn't it? It is quantitative, not qualitative. So the assertion is false. Let's see the reason. Thalassemia is caused due to mutation or deletion which reduces the rate of synthesis of one of the globin chains, that is alpha or beta, that make up the hemoglobin. Yes, this is true as a statement, but assertion is false. So I would go with D as the answer. I would go with D as the answer. Okay. Let's go to the next question. Next question. Starch grain size in pea seed is an example of incomplete dominance. True. Starch grain formed by genetic constitution of BB is of large size and BB is of intermediate size. Yes, it is explaining over here, and that's the reason why I go with both these statements are true, and it is a right explanation as well, and it is a right explanation as well. Clear? Hello? Next, let's go for the next question. In codominance, phenotypic ratio and genotypic ratio are same in F2 generation. Let's see reason. Codominance is an exception of law of dominance, and that's the reason why phenotypic ratio and genotypic ratio is same. So I would say both the statements are true, and it is the right explanation as well, and it is the right explanation as well. Clear? Let's go to the next question. Hemophilia is commonly found in males, which is true as a statement, and the reason is hemophilia is an X-linked recessive disorder because of which males are mostly affected and females are usually carriers, so which is a right explanation as well. So I would go with A as the answer. Both the statements are true, and the reason statement is the right explanation of the assertion as well. Is it clear, guys? Is it clear? Let's go for the next question. Give the answer for this one. Morgan used the frequency of recombination to measure the distance between gene pairs located on different chromosomes. Morgan used the frequency of recombination to measure the distance between gene pairs located on different chromosomes. No. Nope. Different. No. On the same chromosome. Then only this statement can be right. So this is false. This is false as a statement. Let's see reason. What does it says? More frequency of recombination means genes are located farther. Yes, if the genes are located far apart from each other, then there will be high rate of frequency. Okay, they are located low, matlab they are located nearer. Yes, which is true as a statement. So I would say the answer will be D. Assertion is false and reason is true. Assertion is false and reason as true. Okay, is it clear? Let's go for the next question. In honeybees, In honeybees, males do not have father and thus cannot have sons, which is true. In honeybees, males have grandfather and can have grandsons, which is true. But why? Why? The exact reason is not being explained. So I would go with, okay, both the statements are true, but it is not the right explanation. Okay, it says they have grandfather, but why they don't have father? Why? Okay, that is not being explained. They are saying they don't have, in the first statement they say that they don't have fathers. In the second statement they say they have grandfathers. I'm not denying. Both the statements are true. But why don't they have father? That is not being explained. So I would go with B as the answer. Both the statements are true, but that is not the right explanation. Next. Genetic disorders may be grouped into two categories: Mendelian disorders and chromosomal disorders, which is true. Let's see the reason. Mendelian disorders are mainly determined by abnormal arrangement of one or more chromosomes. If you see this part of the statement, it sounds a little bit funny because this is directly taken from NCERT. If I'm not wrong, I think he is talking about, okay, about a alteration or mutation in a single gene. Okay, this is what it should be for Mendelian disorders. So I would go with C as the answer. Assertion is true, but reason as a statement is false. Is it clear? Hello? Next. Let's go for the next question. Increase in a whole set of chromosomes in an organism is known as polyploidy, which is true. Failure of cytokinesis after metaphase stage of cell division results in polyploidy. No, it is anaphase, right? So this is false. I would go with C as the answer. Assertion is true and the reason is false because it is anaphase. If anaphase is not properly done, okay, then it will be a problem. Next. Next question. In pedigree analysis, it represents, oh, it is there. In pedigree analysis, this particular symbol represents 5 unaffected offsprings. You know, males and females are represented like this. And if you represent a diamond shape like this, we don't know the sex. If you write 5, that means there are 5 offsprings, okay, which are unaffected, but we don't know their exact sex. So that is how it is represented. So which is true as a statement? Yes. Some of the important standard symbols are used in the pedigree analysis, which is true. Okay, but it should explain why these ones are particularly chosen. So I would say it is not explaining exactly. Okay, it is not explaining exactly. I would go with B as the answer. Next. Let's see the next question. Chromosomal disorders can be classified into aneuploidy or polyploidy, which is true. chromosomal disorders can be caused either by gaining or losing chromosomes or due to the increase in a whole set of chromosomes in an organism. Yes, which is explaining both aneuploidy and polyploidy in this statement. I would go with both the statements as true, and it is the right explanation as well. And it is the right explanation as well. Let's see the next question. Down syndrome is a genetic disorder caused due to the presence of additional copy of the chromosome number 21, which is true. Down syndrome is a chromosomal disorder, which is true, but I don't think so it is really explaining. Okay, so I will go with B. I would go with B. If if this reason is made into assertion, if this reason is made into assertion and assertion is made into a reason, then I would have gone with A. Then I would have gone with A as your answer. Is it clear? And most of the time these mistakes do happen with the question paper setters. We strongly feel, I think most of the students would connect with the statement what I'm trying to say, that sometimes you feel in your gut that okay, reason should have been assertion and assertion should have been the reason. Okay, then it would have been the proper question. So I believe this is what this is one of that classical example of that. Let's see the next question. Let's see the next question. Multiple alleles can be found only when population studies are made. Yes, yes. In a single organism, either you can see one or two. But if you want to observe multiple alleles, okay, for example, our skin pigmentation, okay, hair, okay, height, all those are because of multiple alleles for which we need population. In an individual, only two alleles maximum you can see is of only two alleles. Okay, that's the reason why we need population. That's the reason why we need population, which is being explained in the statement. So I would go with A as the answer. That's the reason why we need a population. I would go with A as the answer. Is it clear, guys? Is it clear? Next. According to the law of independent assortment, when two pairs of traits are combined in a hybrid, segregation of one pair of the character is independent of the other pair of the characters, which is true. Which is true. Statement 2. Walter Sutton and Theodore Boveri noted that the behavior of genes was parallel to the behavior of alleles. Are genes kya, alleles kya? Genes is alleles is nothing but genes. So it should be parallel to the behavior of chromosomes through which they have proposed, okay, the chromosomal theory of inheritance. So I would go with statement 2 as incorrect. So which of the option gives that answer? B. B. So statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. Statement 2 is incorrect. Baba, hello, pay attention. Let's see the next question. Let's see the next question. A homozygous parent produced all similar kind of gametes. A homozygous parent produced all similar kinds of gametes. If the parent is homozygous, like this, like this, like this, or like this, or like this, okay, they'll produce only 100% similar gametes, which is true. A heterozygous parent produces two kinds of gametes, each having two alleles with equal proportion. This statement sounds a little bit funny. A heterozygous parent like this, okay, or which is male in this condition, okay, produces two kinds of gametes. Yes, This is one gamete. This is another gamete. Two kinds of gametes, each having two alleles. No, only one allele. Each having two alleles. No. Nope. It should not two. It is one. Then it would have been correct. So this is false. This is false. Which one gives that answer? Which one gives that answer? Statement 1 is correct. Statement 2 is incorrect or false. So D option will be the right one. D option will be the right one. Next. In sickle cell anemia, heterozygous HbA and HbS individuals appear apparently unaffected, but they are carrier of the disease. Yes. Yes. Because of this, they have the carrier nature. Okay. This is a normal one. That's the reason why phenotypically it will be normal. Phenotypically it is normal, but it is a carrier, which is true. Which is true. Let's see the statement 2. What does it say? Sickle cell anemia is caused by the substitution of valine by glutamic acid at the 6th position. No, it is false. It is false. Okay, so I would go with B as the answer. I would go with B as the answer. I would go with B as the answer. So, caused by the substitution of the valine by glutamic. No, the other way around. The other way around, right? Glutamic acid, which is supposed to be present in the 6th position, due to the mutation, you will get valine, which results in the sickle cell. But he is saying the other way around. Okay. So sickle cell anemia is caused by the substitution of valine. No, by the substitution of glutamic acid at the 6th position with valine. Okay. Valine is not substituted. Glutamic acid is substituted by valine. So it is given the other way around. So second statement is incorrect and statement 1 is right. So I would go with B as the answer. I would go with B as the answer. Next question. Next question. According to the law of dominance, characters are controlled by discrete units called factors. According to the law of dominance, characters are controlled by discrete unit called factors, which is true. Factors do not occur in pairs. No. Why? Factors do occur in pair. Factors do occur in pairs. So this is false as a statement. So I would go with B as the answer. Statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is incorrect. B as the answer. I would go with B as the answer. I would go B as the answer. Next one. Next one. The studies for inheritance of flower color in Snapdragon showed that F1 had phenotype that did not resemble either of the two parents and was in between the two, which is true. Okay, we got red and white parents, but we got a pinky. Okay, a pink flower, which didn't resemble any of them. So that is true. Let's see the second statement. Let's see the second statement. What does it say? In Snapdragon, the phenotype ratios were exactly as we would expect in the Mendelian monohybrid. No, it deviates from Mendelian. It deviates. What deviates? The incomplete dominance and the codominance. Both of these deviates from Mendelian principles. Mendelian principles. So I would go the statement 2 as false. I would go with statement 2 as false. So the answer will be B. So the answer will be B. So the answer will be B. Let's see the next question. Let's see the next question. Klinefelter syndrome is caused due to Klinefelter syndrome is caused due to Klinefelter syndrome is caused due to the presence of an additional copy of X chromosome. Yes, true. In Klinefelter syndrome, individuals are sterile. Yes. So both the statements are true. Both the statements are true. Both the statements are true. Next. Dominance is an autonomous feature of a gene or the product. Dominance is autonomous feature of a gene or the product. No. If you see the page number, I'm sure 81 or 82. If you see the page number 81 or 82, where he talks about this particular thing, let me recollect. What is the page number? Page number, I think 76. If you see the page number 76, okay, where he talks about this particular statement, 76 or 77, where he says it is not an autonomous feature of either the gene. Where is this particular statement located? Hello? I think where he is talking about the Mendelian thing, the P seed character. The P seed character, I think that's where this particular statement he is talking about. Yeah, 78, where he's talking about the P characters. Okay, the last. Therefore, dominance is not an autonomous feature. It is not an autonomous feature of either the gene or the product. It depends as much as on the gene product, and how it interacts with the rest of them. That's what determines the final phenotype. So it is not an autonomous feature. So this statement is false. So this statement is false. So where is this, sir? This is in page number 78. Okay, this statement is false anyways. Okay, it is in page number 78, old textbook. Okay, where he is talking about that P seed. Okay, P seed. Okay, the where there is a statement starts with therefore. Dominance is not an autonomous feature. So this is false. Let's see the second statement. Let's see the second statement. What does it says? Dominant depends as much as on the gene product and the production of a particular phenotype from that product. So which is true. Which is true. So I would go with C as the answer. Statement 1 is incorrect, but statement 2 is correct. But statement 2 is correct. But statement 2 is correct. Next one. Next one. The heterozygous female carrier for hemophilia may transmit the disease to sons. Which is true. The heterozygous female carrier for hemophilia, yeah, which is true. The possibility of a female becoming hemophilic is very common. No, very rare. Okay, very rare. So I would say B as the answer. I would go with B as the answer. Common girl. Pakko gada. B is the answer. B as the answer. Let's go for the next question. In case of human skin color, the genotype with all the dominant alleles AA, BB, CC will have the darkest, which is true because all of them, okay, are dominant. It is an additive of all these, right? And that with all the recessives will have the lightest, which is true. So I would go statement 1 is true. If an allele does not express itself in heterozygous condition, then it is called as recessive. Yes, yes, yes. See, what does he says? If an allele does not express itself, okay, in the heterozygous condition, then this is called as a recessive allele, which is true. Beautiful. So I would go with both the statements are true. Both the statements as true. I would go with both the statements as true. Next. Next. Based on the observations on dihybrid crosses, Mendel proposed the law of segregation. Why? Why do you need dihybrid? Okay, for law of segregation. Okay, even monohybrid also you can explain. Okay, so this is false. Based on the observations on monohybrid crosses, Mendel proposed two general laws, that is law of dominance and law of independent assortment. Now this can be explained through, okay, monohybrid cross, but law of independent assortment we need dihybrid cross. So even this is also false. Even this is also false. So I would go with D as the answer. I would go with D as the answer. I would go with D as the answer. Yes. Yes, Vamshi Raj is there and somebody called as Roasters is there. Yes, Vamshi, you are giving right answers for almost all of them. Let's go for the next question. Let's go for the next question. Down syndrome was first described by Langdon Down. Down syndrome was first described by Langdon Down. That's the reason why it is called Down syndrome, which is true. Let's see the second statement. Physical, psychomotor and mental development is normal in Down syndrome. If those are normal, why do you specifically study it as those are abnormal? So it is false. So I would go with the answer. Statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is incorrect. The answer would be the second one, B. The answer would be B. The answer would be B. Let's go for the next question. Let's go for the next question. Let's go for the next question. Inflated pot shape is a recessive trait in the garden pea. In the garden pea. Why? No. Remember the characters. This is how we can remember the dominant characters of the pea plant. That is green color of the pod. Gravity is the thing. Okay, to remember all the dominant characters. Green color of the pod. Round shape of seed. Axial position. Violet color. of flour inflated pod, that is, which is fallen like this, and then tall plant, and y is yellow color of seed. So these are the dominant ones. So this is how you can remember those. So inflated pod shape is a recessive, which is false. What is the next statement saying? What is the next statement he is saying? Yellow seed color is the dominant trait in the, see, yellow seed color is the dominant one, which is true. So the answer is statement 1 is incorrect. Statement 2 is correct. C will be the answer. C would be the answer. Next. Morgan hybridized yellow-bodied, white-eyed Drosophila melanogaster Morgan hybridized yellow-bodied, white-eyed Drosophila melanogaster females to brown-bodied, red-eyed males. No, the other way around. No, the other way around. The other way around. So the answer for this is, let's see the second statement. This is wrong. Experimental verification of chromosomal theory of inheritance by Thomas Hunt and his colleagues led to the discovery of the basis of variation that asexual reproduction produce. No, sexual. So this is also false. So I would go with D as the answer. Both the statements are incorrect. Both the statements are incorrect. Let's go for the next question. Morgan carried out several dihybrid crosses. Morgan carried out several dihybrid crosses in Drosophila. Which is true, which sounds true for me. Which sounds true for me. To study the genes that were sex linked, similar to Mendel's dihybrid cross in P. Which sounds true. Next, Morgan observed that the two genes segregate independently of each other in the F2 generation of 9:3:1 phenotypic ratio. Morgan observed the two genes segregate? No, he didn't, right? Mendel observed. So I would say B as the answer. Next, Mendel experiments had a large sampling size, which is one of the reasons, yes, which is true. Mendel conducted artificial pollination or cross pollination experiments using several true breeding pea lines, which sounds true for me. Which sounds true for me. So both the statements are true. Both the statements are true. Okay, guys. Okay, we'll call it a day for today. And tomorrow I will be back with sexual reproduction in flowering plants with same assertion and some of the statement based questions. So please do write the exams. Please do write the exam, and after the exam you need to do thorough paper analysis. Post exam analysis is very crucial. It is as important as writing the exam. I have to, okay, really give a shout out to some of my students that, okay, the next day, that is today you wrote your exam. So tomorrow morning in the class, there are few students who are coming to me regularly and asking why, okay, this is the answer. Yes, this is wrong, but I'm not able to figure out, okay, why it is wrong or why it is right. So these sort of questions, you have to do the paper analysis. There's so many students, they're writing the proper, okay, error analysis book even now they are doing it. So please take this 10 days seriously, okay? And all we have is these 5 to 6 days. By 28th or 29th, okay, we'll stop, okay, conducting any tests offline over here. So to give those 4 or 5 days for your thorough preparation. If you are not giving your mock test now, when are you going to do? Please do write exams and do a proper analysis, and wishing you all the best from me and signing off. Thank you very much for joining in.